This is the second comment today that I'm seeing about this, and I've seen other aspects of it, which is ownership. Somehow Microsoft is trying to take away ownership, and so a lot of people are using this as a huge red flag signal that, hey man, you got to be careful with Microsoft, man. And the thing about them is they're trying to take away ownership. They don't want you to own your games because with their Game Pass subscription, I mean, you knew it was coming, right? You don't own the games, right? So they don't want you to own the games. They want you to remain a subscriber and all of this stuff. Now, here's the thing. As to what their intention is as to ownership, it's actually pretty clear. Like, everybody makes their terms of use clear when it comes to their IPs, when it comes to their products. Another crazy thing is Game Pass is not only putting Microsoft games there, it's putting games that belong to other publishers on its own platform. Hence, we can look at all the different variety of publishers: Ubisoft, EA, freaking Savage Planet, their own people, Star Wars, Lego Star Wars, probably, from maybe, I don't know, Warner Brothers. Who would have done this? Disney, Marvel Games. Let me see. Who did this one? Let's go to more. We should be able to see who the publisher is for this particular game. Come on now. Give me the information that I'm looking for. Let's go. Let me see. Lego, blah, 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 blah. Who's the publisher? You can find this stuff easier on Steam or whatever it is. Let's just use Steam. So let's just go to Steam. Okay? Let's just look at who all has their stuff on here. Oh, good. The Division 2. Ubisoft, freaking Football Manager, Sega. Yep, Sega is the publisher. So we can look at all their terms, right? We can look at all their agreements, and we can find out who among these folk wants you to actually own the IP that they own. Now, as to the talk and the conversation about ownership, I can understand people wanting to own the things that they buy. I get it. Some people say they want to own, the games that they buy. But the reality is you don't own those games. Those games belong to the IP owners. You own a license to those games. In fact, within those particular conversations and the IP and such, one thing that you'll realize is even other companies that may even work on those IPs own only a slice or a piece of those IPs. For instance, the, legendary Spider-Man games from Insomniac that's published by Sony Interactive Entertainment or PlayStation Publishing LLC, but is, developed by their own studio. PlayStation does not own the license to Spider-Man for video games. That's owned by Marvel under the Disney banner and so on and so forth, if you understand what I mean. So for people to say, I want to own my games or, ownership and blah, 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 you got to understand that you knew going in when these games were sold to you that you didn't own them, especially when you're about to fire up a game and start the game. It gives you a huge, huge moniker. Another one is MLB The Show. PlayStation owns the game and all that, but they don't own the MLB license. They did the game in their studios, but the license is owned, in terms of the MLB side, is owned by MLB. So ownership is something that a lot of people are throwing all over the place, pretending like, they have not known or have not been aware all this while that the games that they're buying from these particular platforms, they don't own. Even the disc that you're buying it from, that you're buying the game on, is all you own. You only own the disc. You don't own the game. You don't own the rights to the game. You only own a license to play the game. So here's how you own your game. You go and you get a video game engine, download it, get yourself a couple of programmers, make some assets, write your own story, design your artwork, right? And get in there and cook up your game and publish it. Then the game becomes yours, and write your own terms and your own agreements and say, hey, this game's mine. That's how you own your game. However, everything else is a license. This is the world that we live in. Here's the beauty of it. No one's forcing you to actually go ahead and acquire a license to play these games or engage in maybe watching movies or listening to music or buying music, in quote, buying music, because you can buy a song, a track, but the track doesn't belong to you. You know what I mean? The track and whatever belongs to the artists and the publishers and all the agreements that are there. I took an entire almost 5 minutes to explain this stuff because this particular notion that people want to bring on here to make it sound like Microsoft is doing something crazy, to me, I think a lot of you are butthurt. Just and this is my opinion. Okay, I may be wrong. This person said, it makes sense for Microsoft to take away the consumer's ownership. Yeah. I'll get behind that. No, I won't, because that's disgusting. Do you know what they were replying to? They were replying to Professor Strong's comments where he said, honestly, I think the strategy is genius, which is Microsoft's strategy in terms of meeting gamers where they are and providing benefits. He said it simply makes sense. And this person says they're taking away ownership. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know that there's an entire YouTube video that is actually like 18 minutes long that was shared with me, where this person titled the video, Game Pass is basically bringing slop, or whatever it is, the age of slop. Shout out to audience member Nervous Breakdown. He shared it with me. I don't want to cover the video, but when you listen to the whole video, their criticisms about Game Pass is they don't want you to own your stuff. Now that we all have established that we don't own any of these games, and the only way for you to own your game is by going to actually cook up your own game, is the reality that a Game Pass doesn't want you to own your game actually something true, or are these people all fomenting something that is absolutely false? The latter is the case. These people are all of you. You're butthurt and you're now saying things that are not true. The license, the digital license for these games are available for you to buy should you choose. And you can have a Game Pass subscription as well. If you look at this screen, look in the top left corner, you'll see my gamer tag, and underneath it will say Ultimate. Also here, with Gears of War Ultimate Edition for Windows 10, I actually have access to play the game via Game Pass. I can click play, I can click buy to buy the digital license. If I do not like the terms of the digital license, I can get a physical copy if there's one available. If there's one that's not available, I can choose to not buy it anyways. This is not a problem for anybody. It's not a problem for me, not as it for Xbox. In fact, if you want to own something, go buy yourself a piece of land or property with your money. Stop begging these game companies that you want to own a digital license that is inconsequential anywhere. Please, can we all act like we're grown here? Because we're all grown. I've seen the demographics of everybody that watches these channels. Y'all are grown men acting all pedantic over video games. Quit it. You know the terms of what's going on. And so I recommend that you probably not buy these video games anymore because you don't own them. That's just the reality. I'm not telling you to buy it. I'm not telling you to shut up and consume. I'm not telling you to go ahead and do something that, that you don't want to do. In fact, I'm encouraging that if you are uncomfortable and the terms, you do not agree to the terms, walk away. Walk away. There are people who do it, who are like, if the game is not on physical and the whole entire game is not on the disc, I'm not buying it. If Xbox has said, all we want to sell is digital licenses, we don't want to bother with that, then everybody that's playing on the Xbox ecosystem, we understand that. You know why this is actually funny, and this is why I'm talking like this is, I can't go back and start lambasting Xbox for this when I've been gaming on Steam and touting it to all of you and saying, hey guys, come be a PC gamer. Look at my PC library. And I've been showing you all these games for weeks and months. And then all of a sudden, I'm just going to wake up and be like, Xbox is evil because they're not giving me games. I'm not allowed to own the games. When I've been gaming on here, playing the digital versions for many, many years. It's going to sound like I woke up and I'm crazy. And so a lot of these people saying this stuff about Microsoft, I can almost guarantee you, we go into their libraries, we're going to find a digital game there somewhere. If it's a PlayStation library or a PC library, we're going to find a digital game there. They knew. They bought a digital game because they wanted to play the game. Or because they couldn't be bothered. This is people just upset that Xbox has Game Pass. Game Pass is smacking PlayStation left, right, and center. People on the PlayStation side are looking at their purchase of PlayStation Plus or their subscription to PlayStation Plus and are thinking to themselves, why have I gone ahead to waste the money? I might as well make my way to the Xbox ecosystem. And PlayStation has now come out to also say, well, we're targeting monthly active users and such because you don't own God of War. You don't own it. Even if it's on the disc, it ain't yours. The license is yours. You don't own it. I got mine too. I got my digital God of War 2018 licenses. I got multiple if you want to know. You know what? Let's go ahead and check it out. I got one here. Let me see. Let me show you my PlayStation licenses that I own, by the way. I have a little grouping that I did here where I actually put them all in. PlayStation games or something like that. You know what? Let me just show you. So That way you can see it. Let's do some license flexing over here. Yeah, PlayStation games. There we go. Okay, I have my Days Gone license on Steam. I have my God of War 2018 license on Steam. And I also have the Horizon Forbidden West license on Steam. I have Horizon Zero Dawn installer for Good Old Games because they put it on Good Old Games. I have that for Horizon Zero Dawn. Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. This is my license for Steam, and I have a PlayStation license, I think, as well. And my Marvel Spider-Man Remastered license. I have the PlayStation 4 Marvel Spider-Man disc and license as well, which I own multiple, and then I think I have a 2018 God of War disc, or maybe I sold it. I don't remember. I might have it somewhere. And then I think I may have a Horizon Zero Dawn disc on PlayStation as well as a license. That's about all these people are willing to let you own. And so this is another reason why I usually encourage bargain gaming. You know what I mean? Because you don't own it anyway, so why not cast coins at it rather than spend $60, $70 on it? This is why I'm on Gamepass. In fact, Gamepass is basically taking away the edge of wanting to go spend $70 on a game for me. The last game that I spent full price on last year, full-blown price, was Black Myth Wukong. I think I bought Elden Ring Night Rain this time, but I'm not giving anybody anything more than like that Night Rain money for brand new games. I don't think I'm going to be putting it out there unless I'm making contents dedicated to that. And that's a different case because I can, again, like I told y'all, YouTube for me has a business angle to it. So again, we're not operating this gaming thing, on the same frequency, if you get what I mean. I'm over here, digging the ground and doing all this bogus nonsense, sweating underneath the sun, pumping out videos, editing, and you just have fun and you just enjoy your games. You feel me? So I just want to go ahead and point this out and say this is a very pedantic thing for everybody who is well aware of how the gaming industry is. Now, is it sad that this is where we've come to, that we can't own our games or whatever it is? Yes, it is. It is sad, right? However, it's better to buy land or buy an asset or give money to charity, just other things that are noble. Video games are like, this is a first world problem. Thanks for watching. Peace out.